Well, hello, my baker friends. It's time for a Halloween-themed bake, and I'm so excited because today we are going to have a special ingredient, and as my husband pans down my outfit, my crazy, nerdy, dorky outfit, socks with sandals, but notice the sandals have skulls on them. And we have candy corn because the secret ingredient of the day is candy corn. Now, I know that this Halloween candy is either hated or loved by everyone. There are almost no people, because I've researched this, almost no people that it's okay. They either, oh my God, I love candy corn, or oh, gross, it tastes like wax, it's just sugar, why do you like it? But it happens to be one of my favorites, and I'm kind of obsessed with it, if you want to know the truth. So today I'm going to be making a candy corn and chocolate chip brioche. And I also am going to make something else that may not happen today, but it will in this video, so you won't know the difference. Well, you might, because I might not be wearing the same shirt. Anyway, I have my ingredients all weighed out for the brioche. It calls for 35 grams of whole milk. I don't have any whole milk. I'm using half and half. Now, normally I don't put the ingredients into the bread machine in front of you, but today I am. And by the way, if it's your first video you're watching, you do not have to write down the ingredients. All the recipes will be in the description. So 35 grams of whole milk. My machine has a preheat or rest cycle. I do not need to warm my ingredients ahead of time. So that's milk out of the fridge, eggs cold out of the fridge. I'm going to throw in a little splash of vanilla extract. Maybe 2 splashes. And the bread flour is next. There's a lot of liquid, so I'm going to kind of sprinkle as best I can. When I get the flour in there, I try to cover the liquid as much as possible. Oh, new flour. All right. And then we have 38 grams of sugar. I always put my sugar on the right. I've talked about this before, but if you get interrupted with a phone call, then you wonder, uh-oh, did I put in my sugar? Did I put in my salt? That's why I always put it in the same place so I can see my sugar is there. 5 grams of kosher salt. If you don't have kosher salt, there's a conversion online somewhere. You can use regular salt, no worries. 171 grams of unsalted butter. You know what? If my husband's getting crazy now. If you have only salted butter, that's okay. Just reduce the salt a little bit. It's not going to make a huge difference. I put the butter sort of around, or not really around, along the sides. So sugar on the right, salt on the left, butter on the sides, and the final ingredient for now is my yeast, 7 grams of yeast. I make a little hole in the flour for the yeast. I have it right here. And I want to walk over to my freezer, and I want to show you the kind of yeast I'm using for this bread. I normally use SAF instant yeast in the red and white package, but for sweeter breads, I use the one with the gold and white bag. Hopefully you can see enough of that. So I use this for any bread that is sweet, meant to be sweet. So put that back. I'm kind of superstitious. I never keep my yeast out. I never even put it down on the counter to measure. I hold it in my hands, put it right back in the freezer. Okay, so this is ready to go in. I'm just going to pop over the bread machine and get started, and then I want to show you what to do with candy corn. Going to choose course 11 if you have a Zoe V plus. Course 11 is dough. Press start, and I have about 90 minutes. So I'm going to walk back over here. I know I'm being a tornado in my kitchen. It drives my husband a little crazy. So, I'm not going to lie, chopping candy corn is not fun. I tried putting it in the food processor as is. It just didn't, it's too waxy, it's too hard, it kind of, nothing really happened. So then I thought, well, I wonder if I put some flour in with it to coat it and maybe it would chop. Nope, it just didn't happen. So I just basically chop it painstakingly. I lost something on the knife. It sticks to the knife. I've never left it whole. You could try that if you don't want to chop it. But I like the candy corn to disperse into the bread to flavor it. I don't care if I see bits of the candy corn. That's not important to me. What's important to me is that the flavor kind of gets in there. So I'm going to continue to chop the candy corn a little bit at a time, as you can see. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is 3 ounces of candy corn. It doesn't matter, you know, you can put more, you can put less. You don't have to use Jelly Belly. That's just, I use it because it's tree nut free and I'm allergic to nuts. It just happens to be what I use. I'm also going to add some, did I just drop something? I'm also going to add some chocolate chips. I happen to use this brand, Guitard, because again, it is made in a tree nut free facility. But you can use semi-sweet, dark chocolate, milk chocolate. I guess you could use white chocolate. This is just what I'm using today, milk chocolate. Totally your preference. So, and by the way, if you don't like candy corn, you can just do the brioche with chocolate chips, because I know that some of you will go, oh, candy corn, gross. So there you go. When the dough starts mixing, I will be checking it for if it's too wet or too dry, and I will shoot that video also. So I stood here in my kitchen chopping candy corn, 2 at a time, 1 at a time, and I thought, I wonder if my wood chopping bowl and mezzaluna chopping blade would work. And I'm not done yet, but it did start to make much quicker work of the candy corn chopping. So, you know what? If you have this item in your kitchen, go for it. Most people use this for chopping up vegetables for like a chopped salad or maybe a stir fry or something like that. So it actually is about the easiest way I've done it. I'm so excited. And I also am going to try leaving some candy corn whole to see if it just melts in or if it stays whole. I just don't know. You'll go on this adventure with me, I guess. And by the way, this brioche, when it's done and has all these goodies in it, basically it stops being bread and starts being cake. I meant to say that. I also meant to say that I put the candy corn and chocolate chips in at the add beep, which is basically after the first mix/knead and before the first rise. My machine goes beep, 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 and it tells me to add. So that's when I add these ingredients. Another thing I meant to tell you is I did try freezing the candy corn before chopping it. And I don't remember why, but something about it, I think I could chop it more easily, but I don't think I liked it. So here is the dough mixing. I know there's a lot of glare, but it's the only way you can see it moving, because when I open my lid, it stops. It does look a little wet, but you have to remember that there's so much butter and egg in here that's going to be a very soft, greasy dough. It is not at all sticky. I don't, just because I have experience with this dough, I don't really think I need to add any flour. But I know that it looks a little wet to you. I'm just going to take a spatula and scrape those sides down. Speaking of scraping sides down, make sure you are using a soft rubber-like spatula. You never want to put anything metal because this is a non-stick coating and you could ruin it. Don't do that. So you can hear my machine beeping, and that's when I add the candy corn. And I think I'm going to, sorry, I'm videoing myself at the same time I'm doing this. I think I'm going to let that mix in a little bit. I should really clean the window of my bread machine. Well, I mean, it gets spattered with, not spattered, but dusted with flour, and so you see how it's incorporating. It stopped beeping, but now I need to add the chocolate chips. So I'll add a few. We can watch it go in. But I gotta hurry before it starts to rise, because then it's too late. Okay. And I think I will also add, I opened another bag of candy corn. I think I'm just gonna add a few whole ones. Well, that was more than a few. Oh well. Can't have too much candy corn for me. You can hear them rattling around in there. Now the candy corn and the chocolate chips actually pretty much melt in. You don't see much of anything whole by the time the bread bakes. But maybe we will with the whole candy corn pieces. I don't even know. You're on another iffy what will happen adventure with Ellen. All right then, onward. It's set to rise now. I don't want to keep the lid open too long, let the warmth out, but you can see that the candy corn and the chocolate chips are pretty well incorporated. Yay! Well, you thought I was silly, but my husband is just as silly in different ways. So before I start, I want to bet each one of you one piece of candy corn that I don't get flour on my black shirt. I usually wear an apron, but I wanted to, show off the shirt. It was a birthday present from a very good friend, and it's the perfect shirt for today. So let's see if I can not get flour on this shirt. So if you've seen my other brioche dough, you know it's extremely buttery, extremely buttery. So you can see it's greasy. I mean, we can call it that. It's greasy, it's buttery. It has a ton of fat, a lot of eggs. The reason I'm rolling it in the flour is just to make it a little easier to handle. So, all right. So there's not a lot to do with this. It's just floppy. I'm going to get it in my baking pan as best I can and just kind of smush it in there. All right, and it just needs to do the final rise. What I'm going to do is turn my oven on to the lowest temperature it goes to, which in my oven is 170. I'm gonna turn it on to 170. I'm gonna set a timer for 1 minute, and at the end of that 1 minute, I'm going to turn the oven off. I'm not preheating the oven to 170. I'm just turning the oven on for 1 minute, turning it off. It will make the oven just slightly warm, which is the perfect rising temperature. and I let pretty much everything rise for 45 minutes. Although I set the timer for 40 minutes so that the last 5 minutes it's sitting on the counter, I can egg wash, top with whatever, and preheat my oven for the baking temperature. So I'm going to put this into rise and I'll show you what it looks like then. So I forgot. Did I get any flour on me? Did I? I did not. So you each owe me one piece of candy corn. So while the candy corn and chocolate chip brioche is rising and my pizza dough is about to come out of the other two bread machines, I'm starting another bread machine with my master butter dough recipe. And I am going to make a Halloween candy corn variation on cinnamon rolls. And guess what? I've never tried this before. I've made the brioche before, but never this. So in the bread pan, I have 210 grams of whole milk, but actually I used half and half because that's what I have, and it's fine. 1 egg slightly beaten, 435 grams of bread flour, 42 grams of sugar, 5 grams of salt, 58 grams of unsalted butter, 3 grams of yeast. I normally use the SAF instant yeast, but I did use, I went the red and white package, but I did use the gold and white package this time because this is a sweeter dough. I'm still thinking about how I'm creating these rolls, so stay tuned and see my my crazy. So the brioche, the crazy chocolate chip candy corn brioche has risen beautifully. This might have risen higher if it didn't have the candy providing extra sugar, but it's good enough. I'm going to now egg wash it. Egg wash is simply 1 whole beaten egg and a splash of tap water, cold tap water. I use a silicone brush because when I was using the bristle pastry brushes, it deflated my dough. So I just kind of am very gentle, light-handed, I guess you would say. With this, I'm just kind of sliding and patting and wiggling and trying not to push down. So very generous with the egg wash. And I'm going to strategically place some whole candy corn. Which I hope will stick. By the way, I don't make this crazy concoction just for Halloween. I have an obsession with this myself, plus my friend Lily and my niece Olivia are just gaga over this crazy recipe that I just made up in my own head. My husband thinks it's gross. That was him shaking his head yes, using the camera to do that. But since I'm doing it for Halloween, I'm adding the candy corn on the top. I don't think I normally do that. So I think I'm about there. And because Gilding the Lily is my middle name, I have orange sprinkles. So, you know, this is decadent, silly, but you know, it's a holiday thing. It's for fun. I'm just gonna get my egg out of the way because I'm gonna use it for something else. Oh, I'm gonna open this one. I was prepared. These were a different shape. Even better, they look kind of little like pumpkins. And there we go. Gilding the lily to the nth degree. All right, so I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. This will need to bake for probably right around 30 minutes. I will use my temperature probe instant read thermometer after about 30 minutes that I stick right into the middle or in the middle through the side. And it should be somewhere between 190 and 200. I'm going to go for 200 on this because of all the extra goo inside. I wanted to make sure it's done. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's baked. And then after that, I'll show you, I'll slice it open and show you the crumb. All right, it's out of the pan. You see how the candy corn colors kind of running through, and you can see the chocolate. So it'll be fun to see what it looks like on the inside. So to recap, I have taken my master butter dough recipe out of the bread maker, and I have slathered it, and you can see how much butter is on there. A lot of butter. I've slathered it with softened butter, sprinkled generously brown sugar, and chopped up candy corn. Weird, I know. Okay, so I'm going to start rolling this up. And try to keep it tight, but with the chunks of candy corn, it's a little challenging. And just about there. And I will cut them into little individual rolls. And I'll just get started on that. I'll come back when I'm done. So making sure that's all pinched. And I have a foil pan here. I don't know what size this is. Of course it doesn't say. About maybe 8 by 12, 8 by 11, something like that. All right, so I'm just going to cut as evenly as I can. So I think I want to cut them now in about thirds. And I just eyeball it. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That makes for easy multiplication or division. I will just put 4 rows of 3. And I like how the candy corn kind of peeks out. Now, if you don't cut them exactly evenly, like that one is a little shorter, don't worry about it. It's not going to be a problem. These are homemade. As I always say, I don't want my baked goods to look like they came out of a machine. I want them to look homemade. And homemade is not perfect. So that's it. I think before I bake them, I'm going to put some whole candy corns on top. I'm going to let them rise first for the last time, but I think I'm going to put some whole candy. Did I say candy canes again? Oh my gosh. Candy corns. I'm going to egg wash these, put candy corns, and also another little special touch called pearl sugar that looks really pretty that doesn't melt. And I believe the candy corn will kind of form a little bit of a glaze and maybe melt in. I'm not quite sure. So I'll show you after these have risen. Cinnamon rolls have risen. I'm going to do my little egg wash business. And I'm just going to goop these suckers up with a lot of sugar. And I imagine some of you are going, oh no, not for me. That's okay. But some of you are thinking, this sounds really good. So I'm going to, I don't know if I've ever showed these to you before. They're Swedish pearl sugar. I got these on Amazon. I get everything on Amazon. Do you need me to turn it? And that's what it looks like. Kind of looks like kosher salt, a little bit. And the fun thing about these is they don't melt. So where you put them, they stay. The candy corn is going to melt, but these will stay pretty on top. A couple days ago, I took a neighbor some cinnamon rolls, and she has little kids, 5 and 2, and I had put some of these on top of the cinnamon rolls. The first thing those kids wanted to do is pick these little bits of sugar off. So they're kind of tempting. Anyway, and they look pretty. So now that I have done that, I'm going to put a lot of candy corn on each one. I'm kind of hoping some of it stays on top and forms a glaze, but it may not work that way. It'll just give more candy corn flavor on the inside, maybe. We're gonna find out. I have gone through a lot of candy corn today. Whoops. Shouldn't have been eating the baking supplies, I guess. I have more. There's more in the cupboard. It's okay. I made a gargantuan order from Jelly Belly because they were on sale. And my oven just went off, that's preheated. So I'm going to put these in to bake at 350. I imagine it'll be, I don't know, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'm kind of pushing them in a little bit. I don't know if I need to, but. And I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Just wanted to take a peek and see how it was going. Candy corn still melting but cohesive. I'm hoping for the best. Well, I am feeling quite pleased with myself. Look at these. Oh my goodness. And the candy corns, because I put on so many, did kind of make a glaze of sorts. You can see the colors. I mean, melted together, obviously, but oh my God, I cannot wait till these cool down enough to taste. Well, my videographer is now asleep, so I have to finish this on my own. Good thing I have pretty long arms. I hope you enjoyed the massive video today with candy corn palooza, bread making. Any questions, please put in comments below or through Facebook Messenger, either one. Please like, please subscribe. I'm not monetized. I don't want to make money from this, but it still feeds my ego if you subscribe. So please do that. Have a wonderful October, a wonderful Halloween season, and I'll see you next time. So we just cut one, and there's this candy cane syrupy stuff in the bottom that we sort of took and spooned on top, and now we're going to taste it. And my husband's gonna film me tasting it. We just cut one, as in a cinnamon roll. Yeah, or cinnamon candy cane roll, whatever we want to call this. Did I say candy cane again? All right. Oh my God. Oh, look at the bottom. Oh, candy corn. Oops. Candy corn lover's paradise. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay then. I call this adventure an official success.